What's up, guys? So today I'm going to teach you guys how to feed a starved dog. And with me I have Betty here, who has a super sad story. She was dumped in 95, a highway here in Florida, left to basically get hit by a car and die. I don't know why people do this, guys. Please put some comments below about your thoughts about how cruel some people can be. I know you have a lot behind your head right now watching this video. So I'm going to talk to you guys about why you shouldn't just feed a starved dog so much right away. I'm going to tell you the medical reasons behind it and how much to actually feed them and how to do it right. So sit tight and, like always, subscribe to my veterinary channel. It really helps my videos circulate so I can help more animal lovers like you. Could you imagine how sick you'd have to be to pull over your car on busy 95 here in Florida and dump Betty on the side of the road to basically fend for her life, get hit by a car, and die? It just blows my mind, guys, how horrible people can be. So Betty has been here for 1 week now, and we're feeding her slowly to get weight back on her. So I'm gonna tell you guys what exactly happens in those first 5 days of a dog starving, even though Betty has probably been starved for months to up to years to get this way. And what it does is it causes brain damage and organ failure. So I'm gonna give you guys a scientific explanation for you to understand starvation in a dog, which will help you better understand how to feed them. Within 24 hours of not feeding a dog, the body starts to prioritize glucose. So there's certain organs that need glucose, and that is the brain, the heart, muscles, and the kidneys. These are the organs that absolutely need sugar in the form of glucose. After 2 days without food, the liver reserves of glycogen or glucose are depleted. So in order to keep the blood level of glucose in the normal range, new chemical pathways open called gluconeogenesis, where the liver and kidneys create sugar from fats and protein. On the third day of food deprivation, the body's metabolism slows down to slow down the utilization of their fat and muscle for energy. Lowered blood sugar levels cause the pancreas to change their secretion of insulin, which affects the thyroid hormones and lowers the metabolic rate. During prolonged starvation, the liver then releases chemicals called ketones into the bloodstream. Ketones are then used as a source of energy for the dog's body cells so that glucose-dependent red blood cells and kidney tissues can continue to access glucose, and the brain. Interestingly, red blood cells, kidney tubule cells, and the brain can't utilize anything other than glucose for cell energy needs. After 5 days of starvation, the body's fat becomes the main source of energy for the dog to survive. So Betty here, her body has been living off fats and whatever muscle tissue she has. So she was barely getting enough to survive, and we're really lucky she's here today with us and that someone picked her up on the side of the road, literally saving her life. So when I get them here as a veterinarian, the first thing I do is blood work, a fecal test, and a urinalysis to see what's going on with their internal organs and what's going on inside of them. Now that you just learned how Betty got in this situation, it's gonna take just as long to get her out of it. And I'm gonna tell you guys how to feed her. So the one thing you want to avoid is something called refeeding syndrome. So you're gonna wanna just give her a whole big bowl of food, and these dogs are ravenous. They've been starved for months. Their instinct, their prey drive is on that they just want food. So if you put a big bowl of food in front of them and they eat the whole thing, it could actually kill them. So wait, Dr. Lindsay, that doesn't really make sense. Shouldn't the starved dog get a bunch of food? Well, here's the hard part. Veterinarians like myself and even vet technicians, we need to have self-control to not give them a ton of food to prevent refeeding syndrome. So what happens with refeeding is when a sudden load of carbohydrates in a large meal creates a serious shift in potassium and phosphorus concentrations in the body's cells, which can rupture cells and lead to organ damage. So signs of this are weakness, muscle cramps, heart muscle arrhythmias, even heart attacks, seizures, red blood cells can rupture and the dog can become jaundice, and even respiratory failure can literally happen from diaphragm muscle spasms. So refeeding syndrome, it is a real thing. The way you're gonna feed them is by feeding them 3 to 4 small meals a day, even up to 6 small meals a day, because their stomach isn't even stretched out big enough, just like ours wouldn't be if we didn't have a meal forever, to handle all of that food right away, and they might even vomit it back up if you gave them a whole bowl. But really, they just need to start out with little meals throughout the day to prevent the refeeding syndrome. So what are we gonna feed Betty? I'm glad you guys asked. So you need to start with a food that is high in proteins and fats, because that is how the body has been using glucose in its state of starvation. So a lot of times you'll see veterinarians or vet techs feed them puppy food because this is high in protein and fat. You can also go to your local grocery store and get them some chicken and shred that up and put it on their food. And as you can see, Betty has been pacing around the room. She definitely has a little bit of dementia happening. She's an older girl, plus being starved, I'm sure her brain has gone through a lot. So now that you know what to feed, how much are we gonna feed her? We need to calculate the amount of food as if she was a normal boxer dog. So right now, she weighs 30 pounds. A normal female boxer should weigh anywhere from 60 to 70 pounds. And the way that we do that is we look at the back of a bag of an adult dog food and we look at how much to feed a 60-pound dog. So if it says 3 cups to 4 cups, you spread that out over the period of the day to feed them. So try to feed products that show for dry food a fat content of 18% and a protein of 28 to 30%. When it comes to liquid supplements, they're gonna list seemingly lower percentages for fat and protein because they are typically 60 to 70% moisture, whereas dry pet foods will have only about 10% moisture. So how long do you keep up this feeding? Until you know that your dog can eat 2 meals a day. So I would do small meals for up to 2 months until you see them start to gain weight and that their body is handling it. So during this process, a starved dog may also vomit and have diarrhea because their gut has been compromised for so long. As a veterinarian, I always add on some probiotics and even sometimes antibiotics such as metronidazole to help their gut get through this. All right guys, I hope this video really helped you understand how to feed a found starved dog. If you guys work in rescue and you've helped to feed a dog before, or you're a veterinary student or a vet tech, please put in the comments below your stories. I would love to read it. And also subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up to help my videos circulate, comment something sweet about Betty, maybe you hope she gets well soon, and I will see you guys next week.